Hello everyone, I'm Van from Red Devil Studios. You may know me from making Zenith content in VR. Today I'm going to be answering a few questions from Bento here in VRChat, so stick around.
So, I would say a lot of people probably would want to know how and why did you start YouTube?
Okay, so it's like a two-parter kind of answer since there's kind of two questions in there. So as far as the how, I just basically decided to start educating myself on how to do YouTube. I already went to film school to do video editing and stuff like that. But, that stuff doesn't translate over to YouTube as well, because it's more traditional film school, like filmmaking stuff, and YouTube's like its own ball game. So, really with how, I just decided to educate myself and spend a lot of time researching and put the time and work into figuring out how to get it done. As far as why, well, kind of like I mentioned a moment ago, I did go to film school, and one day I was just loading boxes at UPS. I'm deaf, so I'm working with people that don't really want to dealing with that, or, communicate with someone, learn a new way to communicate with someone. And I've just been through that so many times at different jobs where people they really don't understand what's going on. And so from my end, I'm constantly getting aggression from people, so from their faces, from their facial expressions, because that's how the way I hear you is by looking at your face. So if I'm hey, what'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? No matter who you are, you get frustrated over time with having to repeat yourself. And so eventually, that's all you get from my end is people getting frustrated at you, and you can't really help it. So I decided that one day, I was screw this, I'm not loading boxes anymore, I'm not working with people who don't understand what's going on with me. I need to make a job where I can work for myself, and that it's legitimate, and hopefully it can help some other people. And I went on this kind of journey to discover what that would be. And I had done film school, like I said, and I had done some other stuff. I've explored some interest, and that was the thing that really stuck with me this whole time, that I kept feeling man, I really wish I would go back and do some more with that. And, so one day I was just I'm not loading boxes, I'm making YouTube content. And when I started, I had a crappy cell phone, no lighting, nothing. And I knew that because of the way I look and sound, people were going to make fun of me. I got death threats when I first started my channel. I got told to stop making content. I got told to commit suicide. I got told that I look like Guy Fury. I got told, anything and everything under the sun that can tell you to stop doing what you need to do to get where you need to be. That's what they told me. And I was just nah, screw that. We're going to keep working on this. I got no lights, whatever. We'll get lights in 2 weeks. I got no good mic, whatever. We will get a good mic. You know what I mean? And now we're a year and a half later, one of the largest Zenith YouTube channels, and hopefully going to be one of the largest VR, MMO, and RPG channels here soon in the future. So it's just it was a long process of basically discovering that that's what I want to do with my existence. You know what I mean? And what really happened was, I had first started, the way I discovered it was going to be Quest content was when the Oculus Quest 2 came out, I was already part of the Zenith community in the betas and in the, before the alphas came out and stuff like that. And so when the Quest 2 dropped, I had made a video helping people fix a technical issue, and it had 17,000 views on it in all of 24 hours. And I was this is the direction. People need help with VR. It's a new industry. I have the skills to make VR videos. And this could be a really good way I can help people and help me at the same time. And so I actually took that video down a month later because they fixed that technical glitch. And I didn't want to leave the video up if it was going to confuse people or something. But that was the spark. And then later that January, I just started full-blown making videos for everything. And then when Zenith started taking off, I started taking everything that I had learned from the last year to make the best Zenith guides. Now we have over 100 Zenith videos on the channel, so it's been a long journey, and it's not going to get any shorter. So I hope that in 10 years we're still making just as good content, if not better. And I just really appreciate everybody who's been supporting what we've been doing this whole time.
So, what are some of the early struggles you faced in the beginning of your channel? Like you just said, you received death threats and things like that. So, how did that come about? How did you deal with that?
So, to put it simply, when you're dealing with people that are like that, it honestly varies. So, if it was someone just making some crazy statement like, "Bro, your sunglasses look super stupid. Why the hell are you making videos? Like, stop doing your thing." I would just kind of like block them. You know, there's nothing else you can really do. We got a VPN so that trolls couldn't like find our email address or our our IP address or anything like that. And but when it came to people making like seriously good criticism, but in like kind of a rude way, what I try to do is separate the rude. So if he's like, "Bro, your sunglasses are so distracting. They look stupid. Why are you wearing them in this video?" I watched the whole video, but I don't like the glasses. That's like a half and half, you know? So I'd be like, okay, so some people aren't just hating on the sunglasses because they don't like them, and some people are distracted by them. So I try to take the good, if I could, out of whatever they say and apply it to the channel. So for that, like I used to literally wear sunglasses in every single video because I had 3 or 4 lights directly in front of me. It was blinding, and I was trying to read a teleprompter because I used to use a teleprompter. It was almost impossible to read, so I put sunglasses on. I was like, okay, these look fine, whatever, you know. Sometimes I'd be really tired. I'd be editing for like all night. My eyes would look really tired, and I didn't really feel like looking like that. But eventually I stopped wearing sunglasses because enough of my crowd feedback was like, "Guy, stop wearing the sunglasses." And that's one of the things I got a lot of threats about, which was so dumb. But you know, when you're talking about like people trolling you or something, there's not much you really can do other than try to either ignore it or, you know, better yourself with it. If they are actually being kind of a douchebag on your channel, you can always just hide them from your channel or something like that. But you know, as far as obstacles, my main obstacles were financial, basically to get everything started. Something they don't really talk to you about. Like, you must know it takes some money to actually get a YouTube channel started, and if you're starting from scratch, it can take a long time. Education and determination are a real big difference when you're starting. So for me, I had to make a lot of life adjustments to make sure that I could make content on the regular. Because of course I've got kids. My son was being born around the same time I started this channel, and being deaf has made a lot of different obstacles to overcome. If you're talking about just video content, like, I mean, I mispronounce stuff probably constantly, but I don't know how to put this, but with 18% hearing, I don't always hear the correct pronunciations of a lot of things. So if I learned a word when I was 8 and I could hear better before I lost my hearing, I will know that pronunciation better now. But if we learned it like 3 years ago and it's like an adult word that's big or something, you know, I will screw that pronunciation up. If I learn foreign words like other languages, I always screw the pronunciations up. And that's something that people get on me a lot in comments about, because they don't understand like where I'm from and why those things don't get said correctly. So, but it's one of those things you can't take it personally. You just have to try to understand. They don't know what's going on. That's cool, you know, whatever. And I just those are some of the earliest obstacles. Is basically just trying to get over the financial and educational hump that it is, and the fact that you really need to organize your time. And honestly, you make 20 or 30 videos and you put a lot of work into them, and people only watch like, they get like 36 views or something. When you're first starting your channel, that's one of the most disheartening things. But then when you learn that, you know, you need to make around 100 videos or something to even be able to evaluate how well you're doing, then you kind of like, you know, it snowballs with how much information you have to learn and adapt as you go along.
Going back to what you said about it, you having to have a lot of determination to start a channel. The other day, I heard one of the wisest things I've ever heard from a freaking car commercial. It said your ability to upgrade in life is based on your determination. And with that being said, you were saying about your deafness. How has that negatively impacted your channel and positively impacted your channel?
So to kind of like get into what you were saying, determination is definitely a factor. If you can't just make 20 videos and then be like, nobody's watching this, I'm done. Or you can't be like, people are making fun of me, so I'm done. You have to just be willing to keep experimenting and figuring stuff out and learning as you go. And for me, how being deaf has been negative is just the disconnect with communication between other people, because it's such a hard concept for a lot of people to actually understand. Like, they understand being deaf is just no sound, right? But they don't understand being deaf is like all the time. So like, you can understand covering your ears, but not really understand what it's like to constantly be deaf. Like, for someone to be talking to you and you not even know they're there, or for you to have to see someone's face to talk to them, like, because someone else might turn their head and talk to you, but I've got to like constantly look at your face to know what you're saying most of the time. And in VR especially, there are no facial emotions for a lot of games, so I lose my ability to read lips, to read body language, to read facial expressions, which is where I get a lot of my social cues and information. So it's almost like, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it feels like I have a mental disability to a degree when it comes to communicating with people. Like, I can't communicate with people, you know what I mean? And so that's one way it's made it really difficult, because sometimes when I'm trying to express an idea or something like that, people can take it the wrong way. Or they just really, especially with my younger audience, they just really don't understand what it's like to be deaf. And some other content creators, when I do collaborations, they don't understand. Like, it's a whole process to explain to them like how to work with me, because I can't hear you in VR, and I've got like this text to speech on my screen that lets me know what you're saying. It looks like subtitles, and it's like a whole process to figure stuff like that out with other people. And it's not necessarily bad, because I've met a lot of cool people who are capable of understanding it and accommodating, and they're really cool people. But it's just like, when you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there with all of your um, all of your flaws and all of your inabilities and all the things you can't do, just as much as you put yourself out there with all the things you can do. Like, you know me well, I run multiple channels, I make logos, I'm deaf, I still make some music, I do all kinds of stuff in all these other areas, and a lot of people are like, bro, you're talented, and that's great. But just as much as all that, I have all these other issues. Like, the being deaf and not communicating, that, like, it's just a whole nother level of trying to figure things out. It's another level of logistics when it comes to making videos. But a positive way that it's really been nice for my channel is just that no one who is part of the main community really seems to care in the good way. So, not like they don't care, like, you're deaf, bro, nobody cares. It's just like, they don't care. Like, they don't treat me like I am a deaf person. No one talks to me like I'm a deaf person. And I know that sounds weird, but if you tell someone you're deaf in public, they might like start yelling at you louder, thinking it's going to help you hear them. But deaf means there's no audio. Not yelling louder will make me hear you better. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the crowd, the audience, the group of people that have come together around my channel so far have all been really positive, really enlightened kind of people, and they don't care if you have some disability in that's your content creator. They're there for what you're making, and that's amazing. If anybody is there just to support me as me, that's even more amazing. For me, it helps me, because for a majority of my life, it's been very hard to make connections with people that are long lasting, and I feel like I've made a lot of good connections with people through my channel, regardless of the deafness. I don't think that it's necessarily brought a lot of good things to me, but if I was taking good things out of it, it would just be that my community is very accepting. You know what I'm saying? So it hasn't like helped me promote my message, or I don't say in every video, hey, I'm deaf, so watch my content, or I try not to advertise it like that unless it's relevant. So if I'm talking about something in a video and it's like, hey, I'm deaf, so this is relevant, like this guy was doing this and I couldn't hear him or something, maybe I'll mention it. But it, and I'm pretty sure a majority of our audience might not even know if I am or am not deaf. But positively, they're a good crowd and they don't care. So
You started your YouTube channel like a little over a year ago, right? So in that short time, going from 0 subs to close to 6,000, what was your initial thoughts on how quickly it started picking up for you?
So essentially, at first when I was making my channel, I was just learning and trying to implement stuff other larger YouTubers that were giving advice were telling me to do. You know, like just basic stuff on how to tweak this, tweak that. And so I knew that I was going to cover Zenith because the moment it was like 2018, 2019, I didn't even have VR yet or anything, but I saw a trailer or an online posting or something for Zenith, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. Okay. So I decided at that moment that I was going to hop in and play some Zenith and be part of the community, but I had about a year and a half until they were going to drop the game, you know? And at that point, I was still loading boxes. So when I decided to make the content, I was like, okay, you just need to make something. And so something I learned in film school that really stuck with me is practice makes perfect. I made 49 videos while I was in film school, and it wasn't enough, you know what I'm saying, to make me a great editor. So I decided that I was going to make 20 video patches. So basically, it'd be like a season is 20 videos. And I would make 20 videos, and that would be my research patch. And I would be like, okay, I use these kind of thumbnails. I use this kind of editing style. Did this work? Do people like this? And every season, I would bump it up and try to up it a notch. And even for a while, I did like a new intro for every season. It was like a Sword Art Online intro, and then like a Matrix intro. And then I learned people don't like intros. And so I was like, okay, no more of that. I like making intros, but it doesn't mean that my audience does. So everything I did from day one, when I had 36 subscribers from making Yu-Gi-Oh content 8 years ago or 5 years ago, I can't actually remember exactly how long it's been, but it's, you know, a few years back I made some Yu-Gi-Oh videos and like 30 people really liked them, and I put a ton of content, you know, they're over an hour and a half long, and it was a ton of work, but it just wasn't the kind of content that was, you know, working. So when I switched over to VR, I was like, I need to spend this time learning what works. And then whenever it's time, when Zenith is going to get released, you need to implement everything you've learned. So January hit. It was time for Zenith to come out. I was like, we need to make a new video every single day. And then out of nowhere, I was just in this groove of making 2 or 3 videos a day sometimes, before the game was even out, you know, and I was getting criticized left and right for this kind of content and that kind of content, but I was like, screw that, we're still making videos. The people that are enjoying this are really enjoying it. So I just made like 32 videos that first month more. So if I had made a video every day, I still would have made more videos than the month could have handled. So after that, I was like, this is the kind of direction we really need to go. And so to get there, though, it wasn't just like Zenith is released, so now your channel's popular. That's not. It was more like I prepped for the wave. So when you think of it like YouTubers out there, take this as a lesson. Let's say your favorite game is about to be released, or your upcoming favorite game, Elden Ring's about to drop. You don't make videos after Elden Ring releases. You make them right before. And so that's what I did. I prepped a bunch of content for the Zenith wave so that whenever people started searching for it, my channel, my videos, my information would pop up. But at the same time, I used everything I had learned from previous videos to make those ones good. Also, I had asked a lot of questions to find out what people wanted to know. And so when I made those videos, it was helpful for a lot of people, and it inspired me to make more videos. It really helped me direct my channel in the direction I wanted to go, which is VR RPGs and MMORPGs. So yeah, to get to 6,000, I didn't really plan that number exactly or anything. I just knew that if I had put in the strategy, it was going to work. And in a short time, we had sponsorships. We had, you know, thousands of people on the channel enjoying the content. Almost 1 million views on the channel currently. Almost 6,000 subscribers. You know, like, it's short. For a year, that's some quick work, because most YouTubers, it takes them about 2 years to get to a couple thousand. So I'm actually very proud of the community that we built and the channel that we've all built together.
Well, guys, that was Van Heileman from Red Devil Studios, and I hope some of the information he's given you will help. You guys have a good day.